Hello and welcome to Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. My name is Kelly and I'm a former wedding planner and blogger, and I'm obsessed with weddings. If you're planning a wedding in Ireland, you're in the right place. You're going to learn the tried and tested methods to planning your dream wedding without the added stress. Think of this as your one-stop shop for everything to do with planning your wedding in Ireland. With me, your new wedding planning bestie, and a cup of tea. This is Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online.
Well, hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. Today, we're talking all about things that a pro would never do at their wedding. If you have ever wondered what sets apart a regular person's wedding from the wedding of a professional, like a wedding professional, this is it. I'm going to walk you through 3 things that a pro would never do at their wedding, but I'm also going to tell you what a pro would do instead so that you can do it too. So let's get stuck in. Item number 1. A pro would never lose sight of the main focus. Now, wedding professionals have been planning and executing weddings for years. They've probably seen hundreds of weddings and they've literally seen it all. They've seen everything you could possibly do at a wedding. And for this reason, they are able to separate the kind of overwhelming sense that comes from focusing on all the wrong things, like the details and the nitty-gritty things that don't matter as much. They can separate those things from the main focus, which is celebrating your marriage. That's the main thing. The wedding pros know that the details are beautiful, but they are nothing compared to the celebration of love. And that is why they don't lose sight of the main focus. But you might be thinking, how on earth can I focus on the main thing when the details still need to happen? I'm going to give you some tips. This is what the pros would do. Don't allow yourself to get overwhelmed by the details that no one will notice. For example, do the colors of the napkins match the bridesmaids' dresses? I'm telling you, no one's going to notice if they match or clash. So don't worry about them. You just have to tell yourself that it doesn't matter. Another thing, put your other half's opinion higher than everyone else's. So if your partner really likes a certain type of cake and not many people do, find a way to incorporate that cake into the celebration because their opinion matters more than anyone else's. If something that they really like is not considered super elegant, it's fine. You know, the whole idea is celebrating your love. And if your partner really likes something, that's important. Take the time to invest in your relationship while you're planning your wedding, because at the end of the day, you're going to be getting married and you're going to be building a relationship and building a marriage with your partner. And that should be the focus. So do whatever you can to invest time in growing together, taking time to, go on date nights where you're not talking about the wedding. The idea here is that you're building your marriage and not only planning your wedding. And that is how you keep the main focus the main focus. Item number 2, a pro would never get sidetracked by trends. Sure, a pro will incorporate their favorite trends into the wedding because why not? But they're also just incorporating things that they happen to really love. They'll see things at different weddings that they have coordinated or officiated or decorated or hosted in some way. But this is what the pros will do instead. They will opt for classic and timeless. So if you've ever looked at wedding photos from your parents or grandparents, you can start to see some trends that were really popular. Like when my parents got married, they had big poofy sleeves in the 80s. That was a big thing. And a lot of those photos are very dated. But the pros have learned that the best strategy is to opt for classic and timeless. So this is how you can do that for your wedding. You can incorporate trends if you want to, but only choose the trends that you really love and then ditch the rest. If it's something that you genuinely love and you want to incorporate into your wedding, don't go, oh, no, I can't. Just do it because you're going to love it. But only focus on the trends that you really do want to include. And don't worry if you're going to be an untrendy couple if you don't have all the trends. Something else you can do is you can choose something like your wedding dress or whatever you're wearing to your wedding, like a play suit or whatever you choose to wear. Pick something that fits you really well and flatters you and compliments you, not just because it's trendy, but because it makes you look and feel really, really good. And finally, if you want to go for classic, you can consider wedding activities and elements that are timeless. So things that everybody will love all the time, no matter what, is an amazing meal. No one's going to complain about an amazing meal. A band or a DJ or both that can get everyone on the dance floor having the best time ever. And then add other things that you really love. It could be something like a magician or a caricaturist or a candy buffet. The idea here is that you choose the activities that are timeless, that everyone will love no matter what, and you add in the things that you know that they will just accentuate the celebrations and make them really fun. So that was item number 2. A pro wouldn't get sidetracked by the trends because they're going to go for classic. And finally, a pro would never say yes to stress. And now I know what you're thinking. Of course a pro wouldn't say yes to stress. They're a pro for a reason. They know how to do this. And yes, that's true. But with Weddings Online and with the Wedding Wednesdays podcast, I'm here to help you plan your wedding with minimal stress. So the first thing is to get organized. And we actually had a whole episode. It was episode 73. So it was 2 episodes ago, where I walked you through some really practical things that you can do to be the most organized bride possible. It helps you to focus on the main goal. It helps you to make confident decisions that are clear and they are good decisions for your wedding day. And if you're organized, you're not going to be full of stress. I'm telling you that. And here are some things that a pro would do, which I shared in that episode. Take time to familiarize yourself with your wedding vision and then ditch all the other overwhelming inspiration that doesn't match up with your vision. Create your online or physical wedding planning system and then stick with it. So you don't want to have loose papers with ideas written down and then a note on your phone and then a daily planner, but then also like an email thing and then a spreadsheet. You want to create one system where you can collate all your wedding plans into one space and then stick with that system. And I'm telling you, that in itself is going to give you a handle on all your wedding plans. You're going to feel so organized and you're not going to feel stressed. You can use a wedding planning checklist so that you know what tasks you need to do and when you need to do them. And I can give you a link to one of those. You can work with professional wedding suppliers, and it doesn't necessarily mean having a wedding planner, although that would certainly help you. But it simply means instead of having your friend do the DJing or your friend do the flowers or that sort of thing, unless they're an actual professional, my advice is to hire wedding suppliers who do this for a living and then listen to their advice, because by listening to their advice, you know you're getting only the best input from the pros and you can trust what they're saying. And then finally, I said, do anything you can to continue with normal life and don't let your wedding take over. And so if you want to have all the scoop on how to make sure your wedding planning doesn't take over your whole life, I highly encourage you to listen to episode 73. And I also touch on it in episode 74, which is all about avoiding the post-wedding blues. The idea behind all of this is that if you start to focus on your wedding planning only and you lose sight of your relationship, of your friendships with people near to you, then you're going to feel like your wedding is taking over, and it's not a good feeling. You end up getting to the end of the wedding and you feel sad because this big important thing is finished. So there's so many ways that you can actually plan a wedding in such a way that you're organized, you're not stressed, and you're not allowing all the wedding plans to take over your whole life. So to reiterate, this is what the wedding pros would not do. They would not lose sight of the main focus, and instead they would focus on their love and on celebrating their love. They would not get sidetracked by trends, and instead they would opt for classic and timeless. And finally, they would not say yes to stress. They would invest in a system that helps them to stay organized and focused. Well, thank you for listening today. The Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online podcast is produced by me, Kelly, and mixed, mastered, and edited by Glenn Hartman. For more wedding planning tips, advice, checklists, and more, visit weddingsonline.ie.